Nowadays, we have plenty of studies which show us the impact our rubbish has on the earth. In this article, we can see the amount of years needed for materials to be decomposed. Gums last 5 years to reach zinc. Aluminium tins need between 10 and 100 years, depending on their thickness. Aerosols are the main cause of the hole in the ozone layer, and Tetra Pak cartoon require 30 years for decomposing. Polypropylene, a kind of plastic so used in our daily life, needs between 1 and 300 years to decompose. The typical plastic bottles that all of us use last more than 400 years to clean. Nappies can be for 500 years in a rubbish bin. And batteries may need until 1000 years to be degraded. But although we have all this information and a huge amount of data more, we are doing nothing to reduce our consumption of those so polluted products. We are peeling our fruits to put them into a plastic container, just because this way we save a few seconds of our time, while we are provoking the permanence of these plastic slides for a huge amount of years. We know that we have created a great garbage continent in the Pacific Ocean of more than 3 million square kilometers, and which there are more than 100 tons of rubbish. We don't care. We keep on producing plastic throwaway materials and making this situation irreversible instead of banning and stop manufacturing them. We already know that the constant exposition of humans in polluted environment can reduce our life expectancy. Contamination is a risk factor for people's health, and it can produce many illnesses. The increase of polluted air in big cities is also so linked to the rising number of hospitalizations and registration of cardiovascular and pulmonary illnesses. Human death toll has increased in consequence of environmental pollution, which is a huge risk for health. There's a strong connection between climate change consequences and health threats. Carbon dioxide emissions are responsible of about 7 million deaths every year. Some diseases caused by atmospheric contamination are respiratory, such as pneumonia, asthma or bronchitis, or viral, such as yellow fever, hepatitis or dengue. And the gases sent out by diesel motors provoke many diseases in the circulatory system. It is also said that the high level of pollution in big cities increased about 20% the risk of suffering lung cancer. The number of deaths caused for these illnesses has risen an 8% in Spain. However, in our cities there is every day a bigger number of cars. Although there are some politics which try to finish with diesel motors, they are set within a large period, and we are running out of time. People go everywhere by car, and instead of thinking some solutions to avoid this situation, we are increasing every year the price of the public transport. Although we know all bad consequences pollution has for our health, we are living inside a huge cloud of contaminated air, and we keep doing so tiny things about it, just because we do not want to live without our little luxuries. Europe needs immigrants to work and maintain the population, but the European Union closes its borders with walls or fences and sends the armies to patrol to the sea. If Europe would stop today receiving immigrants, it would lose 80 million inhabitants in 50 years. In crisis moments, it is easier by extreme right to focus the attention in the different one. Nowadays, dictatorships and wars in the European borders are expelling millions of refugees, and Europe also closes its doors. The European Union has admitted 158,000 Syrians since the war began. Lebanon has less than 6 million inhabitants, and it has admitted 1.16 million refugees, only considering the ones registered. Because Europe does not legally open its borders, refugees have to start clandestine immigration travels, and it has become a huge business for people trafficker mafias. The Mediterranean is the more unequal border and the most lethal one in the world. It is a huge risk for the values of Europe. All this information is available for any citizen in Europe. The humanitarian crisis of refugees surrounds us, and everybody has listened at least something about it. However, is it easier for the majority of the Western inhabitants to ignore and simulate to not see what is happening in their borders, or simply saying that it doesn't have anything to do with them? There are many people dying in the borders that go around our countries. We easily do not care because we have a piece of paper in where it is written we are Occidental, and just with it we can go wherever we want, whenever we need. It is so frightening the capacity humanity has to turn a blind eye and build higher walls instead of bringing all of us together and try to help each other.